Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. Quick reminder, we're going to bring two groups. The London and New York is going to be live for the installment traders. They haven't signed up as yet. For whatever reason, they're confused as to what to do. We'll try to get them to understand how to sign up and how to be in it, right? Some of them sign up with the wrong email. So we're going to set it up. So for the installment people, congratulations. You're finally going to be joining us live twice daily. The rest of the time, I'll be in my traders in the trading room where we are right now. So let's go. Dollar index. By the way, this will be on YouTube. It's going to be the weekly outlook. Please go help support it. Make your comments, click your likes if you like it. And if it's something you find interesting that is worth sharing, please share it to some friend or share it on the social media. Somebody will see it and you might have changed their life. Let's go. We're going to be in dollar index. Dollar index came down quite a lot. And like I said, if it breaks this level and consolidate or go further, we will consider a possibility that we're doing one or two things. We're totally reversing. We're totally coming back down. And I mean come back down to break these lows all the way lower, coming down back to break this low here. So I'm going to put a line here because this will be unbelievable today. But when it gets to this line, it will no longer be unbelievable. And if any one of you on YouTube is trying to challenge this, remember the last guy who stopped trading because he challenged me in the yen, right? When I told him yen is going to go up above this level, I said yen is going to break this top here. He challenged it. If that ever happened, he's going to stop trading. And I'm pretty sure he didn't stop trading because he's a dishonest person in the first place. And in the second place, yen went way beyond my imagination. I literally went way beyond my imagination. Now I'm thinking that maybe we got something wrong in this pattern, which means my thought process of 1, 2, 3 might be wrong, which means it could be a contracting triangle in here somewhere. And this is actually doing this one. So if we're doing that, then the downside is not just going to be this, but it's going to be literally coming back to retest this level. Just to let you know. I'm not doing the forecast for this here now. We'll have to relook at this study in our trading room. So let's go back to where we were. There's a high probability that that is going to happen. Now, don't ask me why, don't ask me where, don't ask me how. We look at patterns. As of now, we don't know that it's starting as yet. We don't have any clues of that starting. We're just saying that every start to the downside, once you break the top, is likely the start of the downside. And every single one of them will start with a little impulse and a little correction. And that will grow and grow and grow into bigger impulses and bigger corrections. So what we're getting here right now seems to look, we're getting a bigger flat. So we kind of get a small pullback here and a small pullback here. And now it looks like we're making a big flat here. So let's look at the internals of that. Okay, I can make an argument for if this is real, and we have to, over the weekend, you always want to know whether those things are real. If that is real, we have a flat here. So we have 1, 2, the chances are we will come back and break this top. Not necessarily now, but eventually. So this could still consolidate, still do this for a while, but then it's going to break this top. And that is my clue that the more they consolidate here, the higher probability of this just breaking the top and dropping. Now, in rare case, they don't break the top, which is a contracting flat. That doesn't mean we wouldn't see the setup for the sell, or we wouldn't sell it. That means we'll make the assessment that, hey, this is either a running flat or it's going to a contracting flat, or it's going to be a running flat. So there's a sell setup from the top here downwards, right? Once we see the setup. And since we do this 5 times a day live, which is surprising to a lot of people that we actually do 5 live sessions a day. A lot of people, when I tell them, are kind of in disbelief, 5 sessions a day you guys do live? Yep, that's what we do. So if you want to join us, send me a message on Skype and you'll get it. My Skype is in the description. So come back to where we are. We're looking at this possibility. I'll put the lines and we'll see every time. If it breaks the top, we will look for this. Now, can we buy this up? Might be worth it. There might be a trade here if you get a small flag here, if you actually get a small flag here. To go back first to this level and then put it to break even. And if it breaks here, try to take profit because we're going to be expecting it to go down. Now, why would you buy it if you think it's going to go down? Sometimes it becomes much more complex, which means they go up and go up and go up and go up and then drop. Or make a bigger flat here and then go up again and make a bigger flat and then go up again and then eventually drop. Remember, this is becoming the bigger correction of this one. So it's not always going to be a simple flat. Now, what if this is the first impulse of a bigger flat? for upside, for one more upside. See, this is where wave analysis become complex, not complicated, but complex. Then what is going to happen is you'll probably do this, you will do this, you'll do this, you'll do this, you'll get all the way to the top here, and then drop to this level and then take off. We had that before. If you were following me or if you'd seen my videos, you would know we were talking about that in this one. And we were talking about that in this one. And we were talking about the same thing when this big running flat formed, right? That either this would be a big running flat here, or we were going to go back and put that with something in the past, wait for it to go to the top, and then the same thing can happen here. So on the monthly, weekly structure, we have fulfilled the requirements for the turn. It doesn't mean it will turn now. It can take a good while before it actually turns, right? Now, I explain what is going to happen if it's not going to turn, which means if it's not going to break the low, it has to make a really big weekly flat before it goes up. So that's going to be a really big drop first. Which one is going to come? I don't know. We'll see. So right now, there might be a buy in the 15 minutes to the upside. If not, let it go to the top. We'll look for a sell setup. Silver. Like we told you, this one has to come and break this low and then go back up. It actually came a little lower. And that is kind of, when it comes this low, when they come this low, we think flat. Right? It doesn't mean this is not a correction. That is a correction, but we're not thinking upside. If it stays within this range, we think upside. Because what they're telling is that momentum is there. There's big, huge momentum. It's not coming down. The buy orders are there a lot. There's the sell orders, there aren't that much sell orders to bring it lower. When there are that much sell orders to bring it back to about this level, you're thinking, well, there's a lot of sell orders. People are still willing to sell this, right? So which means even if it gets back to the top, there will be orders that could drop it back to the bottom. So we always look at that as a possible flat. Now, that doesn't mean that it cannot go up. It can. So we're still looking for buys. We were buying this. And well, it didn't go Friday. I think we were looking for buys from the time we were here. We bought some. Now we're going to look for this, and we're trying to get it to break that top. Now, when it breaks the top, if we're in a trade, we're going to move this top really tight, see how far it can go, wait for another correction, buy again. So we have a trade from here to here. If this goes today, let's see if we can get a trade set up. Okay. We might be running here into a flat. I think we can see this, trying to come back, maybe just about this level, or a little more complex. So if it comes here, go back up slowly and come here again, then we'll be stuck here for a while. I don't think it should make a big flat, because if you think of it as an impulse going up, then it's going to be really small. So you can come here. I don't think we want to sell. I'll ignore the sell. I'll take these as smaller corrections or belonging to something in the past. This is the top. This is the first one. This is what you have. Let this come down. Let it break this low. Probably avoid selling that. It might be a trade, but avoid doing that. Let it come here, and then we look for the buy, because the bigger risk to reward trade would be the buy to the upside. So we'll wait for this to come down, and then we look for a buy setup. So I'm going to put a buy setup. Sorry. That is a buy setup. That's what that color means, right? So gold, same here. Right, we're waiting to see what this is going to make a running flat. So that was not actually showing you a bicep. That was showing you the top. What we want this to do is we want this to come back here. It has to come back here first, and then you put a bicep up there. Right, it has to complete the running flat. Now, it didn't complete it. It actually went, tag you there. So if you're in this trade, well, you shouldn't be in the trade, though. That's over the weekend, right? So what we're going to look for is whether this could still be the running flat. If that is not the running flat, then we will get a flat forming here. We'll get some kind of a flat here, and we'll probably go back up, pull back, and then go. That's all you have to realize, right, for this part. Now, let's go to the bigger picture. The bigger picture, unlike the silver, which is in a consolidation for upside, this could be the absolute low, right? This here is the low of the daily structure, right? That's the lowest it has come. In this big correction, that's the lowest. We broke that low. We didn't break it here. We broke it finally here, and we are going up. I think once this running flat proves itself, we'll get a buy setup. Can we sell it at this point? I probably would avoid selling it here, even if it's going to drop, because I don't know that. And since I don't know that it's going to drop, I'll avoid looking for any sell setup. So what I'll do here is wait to see whether we have a buy setup. And no, we don't. So let this drop. It's already dropping. Let it drop some more. And any reversal with a flag would be a buy, or somewhere above this one here, I'd look for the buy. What if it's going to go down still? What if it's going to break the low end? It has to really drop somewhere. I mean, it has to disprove the possibility of this happening. That's a really drop here. I think we bought this. This was one we bought because we had this and we were looking at a possible contracting flat. So this one here we bought, go there, pull back. You'll probably close the trade at some point, right? And then what we're looking for is what this does. I still think the running flat is an option. I don't think this is it. This could be a running flat in within with this piece here. We would probably look at this as a running flat. You do have a flag here. So look at a running flat for that. So now you get 1, 2, 3. This comes back here and then we look for the buy. So we're looking for the buy setup for now. If a buy doesn't occur, we're not going to be in the trade. Wait for a buy setup. It should come down first. Let it come down some more and then we get it. So this one, we wanted it to come back to this level and there you are. So now it has to tell us. Right now it has to tell us something. Is this making a flat for downside or are we taking off to the upside? The bigger picture means we can take off. So I'm looking at the bigger picture and thinking, well, we've got this move up really slow, but then we have a big flat here. We have 1, 2, 3. Is there a possibility we are redoing this part back to the top there before we come here? And that is possible, right? This could end up going back to the top, making a running flat, kind of a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you get a running flat structure for upside. Now that is a possibility. So we'll have to wait and see. On the weekly, that is possible. You could be making a big flat here for more upside. So go back to the 1 hour. And if we get a flag above here, we buy. If this turns out to be more of a flag or a flat, you end up with a flag or a flat here. That's a buy setup. It has to drop, make a flag here, and then we sell. So since both sides are possible, you can wait, see which one comes first. Right now, the flat looks more likely, right? This is look likely. We're going to go back there, come here, make a flat, and that's upside. So the buy setup seems more likely at the moment. We'll wait and see on that one. Euro, seems like we're making another flat here. So this one we actually got going up. There was a small one there. If you took that on Friday, you got break even in the trade. So we took this trade or you close it for very small, right? So if you got tagged on this on Friday above the last impulse, it did tag, you pull back. Remember we said wait for this to pull back here, here, or here, close the trade. Depending on when you decide to left, that would be. So your entry was here. Your stop should have been here or here, depending which one you use. You close the trade somewhere here. And that's what we're talking about, trade management. Right? So I don't care where you put your stop, that's where you close the trade. Right? Remember, we were thinking this is going to be a running flat. And this is going to take off. So right now it might not be. This could be a smaller correction of its own, or we will get a running flat somewhere in the future. Let's wait and see. I expect this to be a flat now. Take that off. I expect this to be a flat now. Let's see what we have in it. Well, we're getting a flat inside. I think we could put this as one piece. We could go with 1, 2, 3. We could go with 1, 2, 3. So this looks like a running flat inside. We'd probably go up one more, come back here, finish this, and then go. So when it comes here, if we get a buy setup, can we try the first trade up? I'm on the 15. I think we will not do that. So on the 1 hour, you'll not probably see it even. So on the 1 hour, I want this to go back up. I wanted to stop somewhere here. Go back, break the top. We can probably look for this straight down. I think that's about 80 pips down. If we can get it at a good point. Yeah, that's about 125 pips down. So if we get it at a good point from the top, we'll get a good sell setup. And then we go for the buy. So not at the moment. I think we have to let it go back up first. We don't have any sell setup here. We don't have any buy setup. We have to let this go back up first and then drop. So we will eventually look for a sell. We'll wait for that. Pound. 4 hour. If this is the start of that up move and the big up move, because this is an all-time low, right? Again, how wrong I was, right? Let's go back to the weekly. Sometimes you're wrong because you never expect to go that much. So when this thing was at the top here, my forecast was it's going to come and break this low. It's going to come and break this low and then start the up move. Oh boy, we're beyond it. We're beyond this low here. And this move, everyone thought was impossible. Now it's here. No longer impossible, right? So now when you tell people there is a big move to the upside coming, well, that seems impossible now, right? The question people like to ask is why is going to happen? And you don't know the whys. No one knows. But structurally, it's possible. So which means, based in pattern, this could be a reversal anytime, or even a deeper correction before it goes. Let's see, we're looking for buy setups. Since we realize that, we start looking for buy setups. And if you're following us, you're doing very well. Take that out. That is not where we bought it. We bought it much earlier. And again, it seems like we're getting a flat here. So that would be a buy setup. Wait for this. I think this is consolidating here. We'll have to look at internals. It consolidate. This is sharp. I don't think that is a expanding flat, because then this would take off. Right, so this would probably be a smaller correction in a lower degree, somewhere in there. Could probably, yeah, you could make an argument this is a smaller flat of its own. This is the first one. We're making a flat in the middle. We will get a trade, not right now. Now, I don't think this is the second part, so I expect this to go back up, come back down here, and then we get a trade. We might not be able to trade in this range, simply because you will not get it set up within the range. Yeah, the range is 200 pips. I don't think you'll get a setup within it. If we get any good setup, we'll take it. So the first one you're looking for is we want this to go back up. That would confirm this flat. Now, can we assume that this is something with something here and that is the top? Well, then this would have to drop and break the low and then go back up. The sharpness of this is what I don't like. When we're thinking flat, we're not thinking sharp, we're thinking flat. And by flat, I mean it has to be flat. This would be a flat. Right, if they go back up now, this piece here is flat. That's an up move. This would be an up move. When this come back here, this piece will be a flat. Right, this is your up move, and then the best thing first is to get this up move. So if this actually goes back up, like we think the euro should go back up, if this goes back up, that would be amazing. We can sell it downwards. 200 pips, you can get something out of that. Can we buy that if it goes? Depending if we get a setup and we think we get a flag earlier and not at the end of the structure. Right, if it makes a flag early rather than at the top there makes a flag, you wouldn't get it. So let's not forecast on this. Let's not work on that one. Let's work on getting the downside and the upside. Let's see how it behaves. It's in a consolidation. It can be more complex than that. I'm showing you the simple patterns. We don't have a sell setup here. Now, you may say, well, what if this is 1, 2, 3 for total downside? We can't sell it in here. Right? It has to prove that it's going to break out of this and make flags below here before we sell. Right, so let's say this is just a sharp pullback and we're going to go down all the way here. Well, we know the rules to that. You can't sell it above here. Wait for it to come out of that structure, and then we look for sell setups. Aussie. Yep, this one did exactly what we wanted to do, except it came too low. Right, we have a 1, 2, 3. I just wanted it to tip this and then go back up, but it's here. So any buy setup here is a buy. Right, we have to break this up, and from there, anything is possible. Either we're going to come make a new low, or we're going to go totally up. This broke the low again. We showed you this. If you're following me, you've seen this many times, right? This is not new to you. Come back to this level, and then probably here again, or break out, because the bigger impulse is coming this way. Just to remind you very quick, this is the impulse. This is the correction of it. So now, if this was a expanding flat, this thing could totally take off. Right? If it's not an expanding flat, then the chances are we're going to come back here, make this a flat, a running flat, come back down here, and then go. So the question, are we still in this, or are we going to go out? Can this drop one more on a 1 hour or 4 hour level? Sure, it can drop a lot more, not just one more. So now that we have this structure, and this is what we were looking for, this is what we expected, all we need is a buy here now. We need this to make a flat, and we're going up. When it breaks this top, this is your trade. And when it breaks that, then we will decide. It will make more flags. We'll get the hell out of it. We'll try to re-enter, or we'll see if it's turning. So let's get that trade first. Go into 15. Do we have a setup? Well, not exactly. It's sharp to the downside. You can get aggressive if you want. This was a trade here. That should have been closed already. But if you're still in it, you might want to close it and wait for this bigger one. Can we assume that this small downside, like pull back, will go? It's possible. It's a very small one. It can become bigger, and I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes bigger. So if you're gonna trade this one, your entry, that is the 15 minutes, and this is an aggressive trade. Your entry has to be here. Keep the stop under the low. Calculate your risk under the low. Right? So this one, I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna put all the entry orders on we have. as soon as I finish, right? For those of you who joined later, you don't know what that is, join me a little after we'll come back in the room after the weekly outlook, and I'll explain that again to you guys. So I think we can go aggressive in this one, looking at these smaller ones, because I think this could be all for it, right? It could be all and they just go. It could be they'll make a bigger one. So we'll put the entry order in here. This would be an aggressive buy. And keep the stop here. So this would be your risk. Calculate your risk accordingly so that you can get at least something inside, right? Somebody calculate that for me. And 100K is 0.25, so you'll tell me what lot size to put on when the time comes, right? Let's go. New Zealand. So New Zealand, we're looking at the same structure. Also, we thought this would be a running flat, 1, 2, 3. It could be an expanding flat at this level. Could be an expanding flat there. Or for all you know, this might be a 1, 2, 3, and this is finished because this had some consolidation. To add this, you can go for a contracting flat in there. But I'll go with the expanding flat for now. So what we want to see, if it's an expanding flat, we want to see some kind of a flat here, smaller, and continue to go to break this top. So with 1, 2, 3, and this one pulling back to this depth, we're thinking flat. I'm thinking this probably will go on more. Not necessarily, but it's high. The probability for the downside is much higher now than the probability for the upside. So we have Euro, Pound looking more upside because of the flat they're making at the top. Aussie's in the middle, which means both sides possible. This one is looking more downside. I don't know which one is going to happen. This could still take off like a rocket because the daily structure allows that possibility, right? We're coming down like this, which means at any point in time, this thing can go back up. We're also at the low here, which is surprising. We're way back at this low. So even in this bigger picture, the upside seems, we did break the low and then go back up. We try to look at this as a possible, I think we think from this one or this one for a possible running flat, something we discussed a while back. This slow move down was the problem. But now that you got this big drop there and this big drop here, who knows? Maybe we break the low before we go. So this could be a flat that would give you one more drop before it goes back up. Now, it's not necessary that if New Zealand drop, everything else drops, right? It could be a single New Zealand drop. Has nothing to do with the dollar and the dollar pairs. Nothing to do with Euro and Pound. They could still go up. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see, because this one definitely looks more downside. Go back to the 1 hour. We want one more move up. Let's see if we can get a buy setup here. No, I would not take this 15-minute trade, and we don't have a setup as yet. So this one I'm not taking, because if this drops lower here, I'll look for something like this and sell. We would consider this all a correction, right? Because we can make an argument for that as a contracting flat in the middle. So we'll have to wait for this to tell us what it's doing. Is it an expanding flat? If it consolidates here for an upside, we'll buy it. We'll absolutely buy it, because from here to break the top, that's a very good trade. Yen, it did break the top. I don't think any one of you, anybody was there to get this one. Anybody was here to get this trade. Your entry would be trading this flat. You'll be trading this. So you'd have to put your entry here, put a stop here. That would be your trade. If you're in, you're out already, right? So it doesn't make sense if you're there. But out of curiosity, we did break the top. So now we have to decide, how is it going to go break that top? It seems like it doesn't want to go break that top, but I think we should go. We don't have any trade, not the buy, not the sell. We don't have anything here. So we'll have to wait, because they went up, they dropped, they pulled back, they're in the middle. Nowhere. Swiss. This line came all the way from the top that we broke. Put it here. So we were thinking of this more of a bigger flat forming here. You could assume that this is the low there, and it looks like we might be looking at something like this. Yeah, possible. We didn't have a big flat on this one going down. So it's strange we're getting a big flat here. Or are we still in the consolidation? This is still trying to go back up to make a new top, because I don't think we'll use this as the running flat here. That would not make sense. This one is too short. It means this will be a bigger flat here. We'll go up, we'll come back, we'll figure out this pattern when it's over. Most of the Swiss pattern, you end up getting them when they're totally over. So let's take this, let's come back here and let's take this out. Because this now looks like we're still gonna make one more up. This piece here looks like it's still trying to go up. See? Yep, you can make an argument that this is still trying to go up, and I don't think it's even ready to go up because you can make, this looks like one down. This looks like one up, 1, 2, 3 down. This goes back, this should come back here and then go up. So it looks on the shorter time frame, it's up. On the bigger time frame, it's still possible that this is 1, 2, 3, and we drop. So one more up, and then that's it. This one, if it pulls back, we'll buy it. If this pulls back down here, give us this flat, we'll consider the buy. But it's just one more up, right? Just one break the top and drop. So I don't think it's a really good buy. CAD, well, we should get a good sell here. Right? If we think this is making a big flat, then that could give us a good sell, which means we'll definitely have to look for something else with this. If we consider this the flat, then we just broke the top, which means downside is still possible. So which one? Is it this flat, or is it making a flat here now? We'll see. Let's see if we get a sell setup. This is not really a sell setup. Under hourly, that's just one candle. So we wait. Let's wait for it, see which one it gives us. But if it gives a sell setup here, a flag or so, we'll consider breaking this low again. I think we can go with a contracting flat in there. I'll probably look back for something else. Canadian. We're in the range, so if you sold this, like I tell you, the worst case is you're going to get break even if you take that, right? So we'll take this out now. But you notice it didn't drop. It actually consolidated downwards. Right? This turned out to be a consolidation. So we're looking for this one up now. And then from here, we'll sell it again. I don't think that is the one going to drop because we still have this and we have this. So even if we go up sharp, we still have to come down back one more, go back up and then drop. We still have this three wave down. Go back up and then drop. But from the top here again, we'll sell. So every time you get a sell setup from the top, you can take it and then see what happens. Can we buy it to go up from here? No, I don't think we can. And is it ready for the upside? Looks like we're coming back to the low within this move. See? Looks like this is ready to drop. Let's see. If we get a flag, we can consider it. If it makes a flag somewhere here, you can consider dropping it back to this low and then go back up. So we're in that range, and you have to either buy from the bottom to go up or sell from the top. Better is to sell from the top because eventually it's going to make a really big move down. And that is the one you don't want to miss. Euro yen. Well, this now has to tell us whether we're going to come break this top and then drop, or whether they're going to start to drop from here. Let's go back to the 15. That is the top. That is not a buy setup. There wasn't a buy setup there. Even if you had it, you should have taken it off before anything tagged you there this morning. And right now, this still looks like correction. So come back here. And then we can consider the buy. If this come back here, we can consider the buy to break the top. The sell will come under here. Now, if you get a sell from here to go down to this level, you can consider that. The range is huge. What's the range of this? It will be from here to here. That's 103 pips, so you could get 80 out of it at least. So let's see if we get a flag there to sell. We have this sharp one, but you had a sharp one here too, so you can make an argument for that. You could put this separate, put that separate. Let's see. It could go back up still, which means this could still go back up here. Then we'll be looking at all of this still running flat and then come back. The buy here is a bad idea. Wait until it comes back here before you buy. Pang Yen. Okay, so we get back to that level, and now they will tell us, right? We got back to that level. We expect this to drop, go back there. Now, two things can happen. Right? Either we totally go break out, we consolidate here and break out of the structure, and then this was all the correction. we'll figure out this piece, right? We still have to figure out whether that's 1, 2, 3, and then you have 1, 2, 3, or whether these complex pieces in here is a 1, 2, 3, and now you get 1, 2, 3 as expected, and this comes back here and then go, right? So that piece is still open. This was the mess, so that is the problem. We really can't figure out which one is correct. Let's see what happens here to tell us if they're going out or they're coming down back. It did go back to where we wanted, so now we just figure out it looks more upside to me. It looks more upside. It looks like this is a sharp one. This is some kind of a correction. Come back here and go up. We'd look for that trade. Let's see. Just leave it for now. Susian, definitely a sell. Remember, I said even if it breaks the stop, watch it. It's going to come up because this is one single sharp move, nothing to contradict that. This is it. You get a sell setup, you should take it. So we would look for a sell somewhere here. Let's see what it looks like in a 15. Okay, this did drop here and go back up, and that makes it a little different. So you'll have to put the entry under here to be sure. Put the entry under this one. Now, if it tags you here and make a bigger correction, we'll have to monitor it. So the stop would have to be, what's this range here? Let's see. That's 200 pips. That's a problem. Let's see this here. We're expecting this thing to come and break this low. Minimum come and break the low. That's like the minimum. So even if you put an entry here and a stop there, your target is way beyond here. And that is how much pips? That's about 1.5 to 1 on the trade, right? If you put a stop there. But it's still a very big stop. You'll get a really small lot size. It doesn't matter as long as you can put a trade on. But if you can't put a trade on, then what you would do is we'll wait for this to make a flag here in the 15 and then sell it. So the two options, do not put the entry here with the stop here. That is actually telling you I want to lose the trade because they can come tag you here and go back up there and now you have a bigger correction. Right, we're still in the correction. It's either this is finished or it makes a bigger one. So putting an entry here and a stop there, that's dangerous. If you can't put the stop at top here, which means you will not get into the trade at a very, very small outside, then wait for this to make a flag and then we sell. So we'll put it, we're waiting for a flag for a sell setup. That's something we can do. This is a sell we definitely need to take. If you can put that trade on now, put it on. Right, then we'll manage it. Better if we get a flag here. This doesn't look like it's making a flag here. See, they pull back and they start to consolidate there. We'll see. New Zealand yen. Okay, let's see what we have in the 1 hour. Again, the same thing. We came down enough, so we thought this should take off. And we were looking for a 1, 2, 3. When it was here, we put an entry there for this to go up, but it dropped some more. So now we are here. Could we look at that as an expanding flat? Take this off. Or is it all the correction for one more drop? So you can look at this two ways right now. You can make an assumption, well, this was all the correction. That's it. We're going to drop one more, break this low again, and then go back up. And that's one option. The second option is, well, nope, right? This is an expanding flat. And this is going to go up. We'll wait for the flag here to confirm that. If we get a flag here, that becomes a buy setup. And we're actually making a flag there right now. But at least so it looks like there's a flag in the making. So you kind of get a 1, you got 2, you got 3, put an entry above the top. If this stays here longer, then we'll assume it's going to come here, go back up there, and then drop. If it's going to go now, it's going to go. So this is an entry we can put right now. That's a buy setup. We're putting all of them as aggressive buy in the 15 because we're in the 15 and we're still in the consolidation. Aussie yen. I think we will go with an aggressive buy setup here too. Take this out. Put the aggressive buy setup here. Expanding flat is still possible here. We can go with that expanding flat as well. I still think it could be an expanding flat. It could also be that that was all the correction and it's over. But right now, the expanding flat looks much better. So the buy setup will go there. We don't have a sell setup. We don't have a sell setup at this point. It has to come down here, go back up, and then we get a sell. So that's a buy, aggressive buy. Euros. Yep, anybody who took that trade did well. We're looking for what? Well, we don't have to break the top. If we're looking at this as a possible running flat, and we think that is what we're looking at, we don't have to break that up. So coming down from this point makes sense. And we're not expecting this to be the top in a running flat. In a running flat, we're looking at this as the top. Right? If we think it's a running flat, then we're thinking this is 1, this is 2, with this being an expanding flat, and this is 3, which means this could come down here. All right, that is all. We only wanted it to go back up like this, and it did that. Perfect. We're not looking for anything else. We're expecting it to go down now. So do we have a sell setup? We'll absolutely take it. Nope, no sell setup. Not as yet. That's in the 15. Well, all the 15 small flags are finished. These small flags are over. We want a bigger consolidation. I do want a bigger one. We'll take that as 1. This is 2 and then drop. So wait for that bigger consolidation now, and any sell setup is perfect. So we're waiting for a flag. Euro Swiss. Okay, so we wanted this to go back up also. It went back up. And now what? That's a problem. Do we look at it as this one, an equivalent of this? Or we still have this here? So I don't think we're over. I think this is much more complex because this sharp move doesn't fit with anything here. We can try to force something like this onto it, but I think that's forcing it. That doesn't make sense to me. Then that will give you 1, 2, 3, and this makes sense to go with this, right? But that's too early. So here's the thing. Even if these two are correct, then we have to drop, right? The idea is you're going to drop. If that is not correct, then let's say this one is still part of this. Let's say this is a 1, 2, 3 within this one and within this one. So it has to come back down, go back up, complete this one, and then drop. But it's downside first. And if it's completed this one, it's downside. So the first move should be to the downside. Let's see if we get a sell setup from this point. So on the 15, we don't have a sell setup. Most likely we have a buy setup, right? Most likely you can see that this flat here is going to go back up. It slightly needs to even break this low, maybe. You're looking at a 1, 2, 3. You're looking at a 1, 2, 3. Which one? But both of them looks upside. So we would let it see if we get a buy setup even here to go. I think just leave it for now. Don't buy inside the correction. If we don't get the buy, let it break the top. Reverse, we look for the sell. Because the bigger picture is to the downside. But right now you're making a flat that should go up first. Euro New Zealand. So did that arrow just disappear? Okay, there's an arrow somewhere. So now it has to tell us, right? This is the point where we said, once we break this top, it has to tell us total upside or total downside. I think the total upside is winning so far. At least so far, it looks like it's trying to go up more than coming down. So let's go back to the 1 hour. And let's see if we're getting anything here. This would be a contracting flat. I would hate to put it that way, but it seems like we'll have to go with a contracting flat or a running flat with a very small one there. No, I'd probably put this here. I'll put this one here. So the problem is we don't have anything for this unless we go backwards and find something, which means nope, nothing that I can see. We'll come back to that. Wherever we put it, we'll have to come back to it. Could it be that this one is it? Right? This could still come back for this piece. Right? Because this is a flat of its own here. So this one could work its way down like that. We might end up with a running flat like this that goes up. So we have to exclude that possibility, right? If you get a sell set up here, you want it, even if it's going to go down deeper, you want to exclude the possibility of it just doing this and then take off to the upside. So we're going to put this here, just like we had this one, right? Remember, this one was from here. We put it, turn out to do exactly that, then go up. So we're going to look for this one here now. Let's put it in the 15 and see. You do have some more downside. Now it's too late to buy. So unless it makes a deeper correction here and then drop, this would be a trade. If not, we will not get a trade. We'll just let it go down and then look for a buy setup. EuroCAD, let's see the big picture of this. most of the Euro pairs are in this place, right? Where they can do both. Just like the Euro New Zealand, just like the Euro, well, except for the Euros probably. We have 1, we have 2, and it did go where we expected to go. That is breaking this top. And now this could be a 1, 2, 3 that comes back, make a new low. Remember, this is a low, very low in the weekly. So we can either come make a new low, or we could totally start the upside. So in the weekly, if you look at the picture, you're seeing this one. See? So the question is, are we going back to this level, breaking these tops? Right? Depending on how you look at this. If you look at this as a 1, a 2, and a 3, then that is possible, going to break that top. But if you look at it like this, as a 1, a 2 here, or a 2 here, depending on a 2 here and a 3 there. So if you look at this as 1, 2, 3 here, and you look at this as 1, 2, 3, then you get 1, 2, 3. And then this could totally go and break that low. So this would come back down here and drop, 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 drop. And you don't know which of those two are possible, which is the correct one. It's hard to tell. It's really, the structure is such that both of them look possible. You could make an argument for this easily. I mean, if we'd seen this and we think, well, yeah, that looks to me like a flat, right? With this in the middle as a 1, 2, 3. Looks good. Not the perfect one, but it looks good. We came close to that top. We didn't break it. In this case, you could always assume it doesn't have to break that top. It needs to break this top. And it did that. But it's still short, which is why I think, what if we're looking at it like this? Right? So making this in the middle, the flat. Right? And this is the 1, 2, 3. Now you have 1, 2, 3. It looks much better, and expect this to come back there. That seems to look much better, right? From just the looks visual of it, it looks much better. But we don't know which one. This was easy, right? This part was easy. You had a 1, 2, 3 up. Now it's easy to tell you which one is going to go. You have to wait for a reversal or any flag we buy. Now, this is not a flag. That's a sharp move. The 1 hour, that's a relatively sharp move. And the 15, it's still sharp, right? This move down is sharp. So that move by itself down doesn't give us any, it's not giving you any clue. Right? Whether it's a buy or sell, we have to wait until it consolidates here for upside or make a flag here for downside. Whichever comes first. We'll see. So both sides of this is possible. Keep your eyes on it. Europe. Yeah, the downside is what we want, right? We had another trade, except for that trade, we had another trade here, which break even. Literally, you had 1, you had 2, you had 3 chances to take break even, take the break even. Now you can put that sell here. It's a valid sell with a stop above here. So when you're calculating a risk, you're going to put this entry here, and you're going to put a stop here. Right? Now, can we get a trade from here going down? Yes, we'd look for that. Right? But we don't know whether we're going to get that as yet. Could this possible continue to go back up? Well, in this case, it looks very, very possible downside because you're making a flat. Right, so the downside seems more possible, but this in the 1 hour, this one is already telling us the downside looks much, much more possible. So I like the trade. Put an entry here. We don't have to break that up, so this could drop. Let's see if we get a flag somewhere in here to take the trade. That would be a better trade for us. Risk to reward wise as well, it'd be better. We're going to put a sell set up here, and this would be a sell, not an aggressive sell, because that's a big flat. With the aggressive sell would be from here to here inside of that. Pound Swiss. Well, it depends on how you treat this. You either got break even or you got some profit. Either is possible. And now we are here. Let's go to the 1 hour and see where we are. Is it the total upside or is it turning? Any flag here? I think we could be heading for the total upside. We looked at this already, right? This could totally be going back all the way to the top. So go on the 1 hour, wait for flags, buy. We don't have any sell set up. If we get any buy, we'll take it. I don't think we have any buy set up as well. Just buying this doesn't make sense. That looks like a small running flat. Should we sell it? We'll have to consider that. You want to sell that? I don't think we want to sell it. So we'll see if this looks like, it looks like a small running flat forming, which means we're not ready for the trade as yet. Pound CAD. This might be sell. Take this off. Same thing. You either got break even or you got some profit depending on what you do with it when it pull back, right? So we will go with this as a small expanding flat. And now we're coming down. So any flag here becomes a sell. Any reversal upward, look for a buy. Any move to the upside. We think that thing should drop. No, that looks upside. This is a very strong reversal. We actually reverse that impulse. This is likely more upside. Highly, highly probable for more upside. And again, I think we have to relook at this whole thing in here, right? Either we're trying to make this one, 1, 2, 3 going back up, or we're totally trying to go up like this one. So we have to decide whether this was all the correction. This was the low, and we're totally going up there to retest this top, right? Like this. Is that something we're doing? Or are we still in this one here? With this 1, 2, 3 there, which means we make a 1, we make a 2, 2 somewhere here, we make a 3 there, complete this one, and then go down 1 more. Right? Because we can make an argument that this and whatever that is looks like this. It doesn't matter which one it is. The next move is to the upside, and the next move is huge. So let's look for buy setups. I think we just wait for a buy setup here. We don't have any. 1 hour, 15 minutes, wait for a buy setup. Pound New Zealand. So these were buys, but I don't think this one we're looking for total upside. Let's see again on this. Okay, so this again, this has to tell us this is a correction, right? That was a correction, but this was not dropping. So my thought process is we just made 1, 2, 3, and we're going back up all the way back. So this might be a huge correction, something like this all the way to the top. This becomes a bigger flat. So we're just talking the range, right? We're just talking that range. We're not dropping. So do we have, can it go up more, or is it going to consolidate deep? I wouldn't be surprised if this just come back all the way to the bottom here slowly. It doesn't have to go more. Let's see in the 15 minutes if we have any trade set up. No, nothing. Let's wait which one comes first. This is a sharp move down. So from the very first thing we should expect is a correction back to the top and 1 more drop. Let's see if we get it. Wait for that. So we'll wait for a flag for a sell setup. Powers. Very similar structure, very sharp move. They all have these sharp move up, and a lot of them are all-time low. So at least more upside. Now, can this go back up without breaking the low? I didn't think we broke the low. Let's see. Nope, we didn't break the low. So if we go back up without breaking the low, we're still in the correction, right? We're literally still in this correction. So this would mean that we would have to, if you take this as a 1, 2, 3, and this is going back up, it would probably continue to go back up like this, which is repeating something like this. I'd get back to the top, maybe even drop again sharp. Repeat something like that. Drop again sharp and go back up like this. We could be stuck here for a very, very long time. Just going up and down, right? So yeah, let's trade it up. Let's assume that it's going to go up. Now remember, this is a really sharp move. So at any point in time, this sharp move starts to pull back deep. Now we have 1 impulse, 1 correction, 1 more impulse. Can we get another correction like this? Something like this again, and then get another impulse, and then start to get the deeper corrections? Yes, possible. So let's go. We have 1 move down. We have 1 move down, and we are not even sure if it's over, right? So going to 15, this is your single move down. This is finished. This one is this piece here. And again, if you put your stops correct on this trade, right, you got it correct. Now let's see what happens here. We need a correction. Depending on how it is, we'll decide for the sell, or if it comes here, we'll decide for this and then the buy. It's most likely going to be a sell. I think we're going to get a sell. So wait for a flag. If it goes all the way to the top, we'll just ignore it. Can we buy that up to the top here? If it's going back to the top, we'll consider it. It's risky, but we'll consider it. Aussie, New Zealand. Okay, it's more than what we thought. We thought the running flat, it's more than that. So maybe expanding flat. Could this be that this was some weird running flat here? This piece without breaking out like this one here. a 1, 2, 3, and a 1, 2, 3 with a running flat, but a contracting flat in the middle. Also possible. Take this off then. Let's see, if you're looking for sells, you'll have to look for a sells from this. I don't think that is a sell setup as yet. Not the way it looks. So let's wait. Nothing there to trade. Aussie CAD. This still looks downside. This here still looks downside. So the question is that all the correction? Can we look at that as all the correction for downside? Yeah, possible. I think we can do that. Makes sense. So we were looking for this to be 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2. So yeah, I can see this dropping, coming back to this level. Let me put a line. The line is irrelevant, but we wanted to see a visual of where it could possibly go, right? So yep, this could expand and come all the way here. See, it's expanding as it goes. So I think we've got a big flat here. I'll probably go with that and then look for sell setups here. Let's see if this is a complete pattern. Well, not as yet. There's still a lot more in this to form. We have 1, 2, and now we're making this. So we'd have to let this come here, go back up, complete this one, and then look for the sell. So we'll be looking for a sell setup somewhere from the top. Aussie Swiss. I think the same here. We want this to go back up here. We were talking about this morning in the trading room. Let it go back up there, and then see if we start to get sell setups. If we're going to be buying this, it has to break out of that completely. We'll be looking for this, right? But it's not going to happen now. It's going to be way down into a couple months from now. New Zealand Swiss. And depending on how you look at this, same here, you have the sharp move. If we assume that this is all the correction, okay, if we assume that they're making a running flat here, then probably we'll go there, come back here, and then go back up. But if we get a buy setup here, I think we'll take it. It's worth the risk if you get a buy setup. We don't have a buy setup there as yet. All right, so you'll have to literally get a flat here, but just for one piece more up. If it starts to drop, we'll go with the sell. If it doesn't go one more down, we'll look for a sell setup. So you have to wait for a flat before you consider a buy. New Zealand CAD. Okay, this didn't go higher and it dropped much lower. So do we have a sell setup? Let's see. Now this is one sharp wave. It does have a correction inside, but it's really sharp. So if this makes a correction here now, and I hope it's a bigger one, we're going to be looking for one more down, one more up, complete that flat, and drop. We've had a lot of those running flats here, right? So it's possible. We've had a bigger one like here too. And you've got a big running flat. So you see this running flat here, that one, 1, 2, 3, a smaller version of that here. Wait for the sell setup here. We'll take the sell. It will have at least one more impulse down and then it's going to come back up. So wait for this to form. It's still forming. It's going to go higher and then come down. We'll wait for a flag for the sell. CAD Swiss. If you took this, you got it for positive, whether break even or I'll go break even. That's a positive break. We haven't got this move up, so there's a good chance we're going to get one more drop. Right, this is going to drop one more, and then we'd look for that. So every time it drops, we're going to assume that we're making one more drop. We'll assume that this will make one more drop, and then go up for this. If we get a sell setup, we'll consider it under 15. What will be your sell setup? Well, you don't have one as yet because we have this. We have 1, 2, 3. Now you have 1, 2, 3 here. This is small, and this is not going up very aggressive. So let this go back here, look for a trade down here, then one more up, then drop, right? Something like this. So we'll see if that is tradable when we get the setup. Natural gas. Yep, you got the flat here. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, you're coming back to this low. And then we're still in the middle of nowhere, right? So we've got this flat. We're getting this flat here. One more drop. Then we have to get this one. Then we have to get this one, and then we have to get that one. Well, let it complete that. When it come here, look for the buy. When it come here, look for the sell. When it come here, look for the buy. And when it come here, look for the sell. So on the 1 hour, you're stuck in that range for a while. I think we're stuck there because I can see one complete flat. That is this one. And we're about to complete this one. So if we go back up there and you don't get any trade, definitely take the sell. Right? Because that will complete this pattern, which means you're looking for this one now. And if you get a turn and it goes back there, great. But then you're definitely selling. Every time they come here, you sell. Right? If that stays where it is, we're getting a big drop. Right? If all of that consolidate there, we're going to make a big drop. I'll take this off. And the drop should probably be to this level. We're looking at this possibility. Somewhere here, right? So let's go to narrow. We need to exclude this flat before we go down lower, right? So if you put it like this, it needs to drop here. And then from this point, it could either go back up or drop lower, all depending on how you look at the bigger structure, right? So if that is an absolute top, we're going to drop lower. If it's making a running flat, we're going to go back to the top, then drop. Which is it? Because we still have this one here, right? This one that is not thing. If you put these two together and you said, well, maybe that is the running flat, then this is going to continue to drop. If you put these two together, then we're going to go back up, pull back, and then go back up again. So which one is it? We'll see. These two look much more better than this one, but we'll as we come to it, we're going to see. Wait for the sell setup. You got a number of sell setups inside of that, and then you get the drop. US oil. Okay, we're getting a buy setup here. It could be short term, so keep that in mind. You had one, you had two, you got three, and it's going up. So there might be a flag here that you might want to consider buying the flag for the spike up. It's going to give you an advantage in the risk to reward. Yeah, you could use the flag, put an entry above here. Right? Keep your stop under this low because we're trading this one, right? We're assuming that because it could tag you there and pull back here and then go see that. That possibility exists. If you want to be in the safe side, keep it here. So this would be the risky trade. This would be a safe trade. And what's safe to trade? And we're still thinking upside, right? We're still thinking this thing is going to go. So let's wait and see. Can this make a deeper consolidation here? Let's say, for example, this 1, 2, 3, just come back here all the way back to the bottom and then go? Yeah, possible. It wouldn't tag you here. Shouldn't tag you here. Let's put it that way. This one is much easier. You're getting a flag here. And that is the top. Probably try to trade this flag. Take this flag and then we'll see where that goes. Let's take that because this, in the big picture, you have this. That should come back to the top at least. Right? That should bring this back to this top, and then we look for the sell. But just simulate this, right? Break this top, come back. Remember, we had a lot of these sharp ones, like this one, like this one, and like that one. So I think this is just making a sharp correction. Probably give you one more spike here and then downside. So we'll be looking for the downside still. UK oil is a better option for that. See, it's more or less flat, so that's better. S&P 500. We still have this sharp one, right? So we've got a flat in the middle. We've got a perfect running flat, right? So this was the sell. It dropped. You made a bigger one. You drop. You're making a buy here. We're going for this one. And then we should go down again. So, yep, there's a buy setup here. There's a buy setup here for this one. And we're looking for this move up. So let's go with that. A stop under the low. This is an easier one. We're looking for this trade. And then we were going to go with this. So we can put this like that. I think you can make an argument. It's not the best one. Or put this separate and that be something else. Let's see. Come to that. You can add this into the equation 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So then you probably get a bigger one like this. So we're still looking for that. So that's a buy. Let's go with this. We'll put this trade on as well. Aggressive buy. Another aggressive buy, same here, right? We don't have this, so we'll be looking for this. This one down already happened, that is this piece. So now we need this one. And you are getting an aggressive buy. Same structure, turn this around now. And you've got another aggressive buy. Don't put all three on. You only need to trade one of them or split the risk in two. DAX, yeah, same. You're getting a move up here. Right, here's another one. I think that should go there. You've got this flat, you got this, you got this, you have that, you need this up, and then you get sell set up. Same thing, aggressive buy, right? So put it here. Aggressive buy. Nifty. Okay, so now you have the flat. If you get a flag here, sell. I think that's an expanding flat. You get a flag, sell. Wait for flag, sell. Bitcoin. Well, it's going to drop. It could drop now. You could make an argument that this is over. 1, 2, 3. And this is kind of coming down here. Break this low, then we'll start to look for buy setup. So when you get beyond this point, somewhere there, that's when you can start to look for buy setups. And you wanted to break the low again. Is a correction. It's either going to reverse or it's going to make another consolidation. Same here, except I think this would probably just come here and go back up. We're looking for this to probably happen. Just like this, right? 1, 2, 3. Make a flat and then drop one more. Could this actually tag the low and go back up totally? Possible, but I'm not expecting that. So we'll wait. OMG, break the low and turn. I think once we break that low, we could expect this thing to turn. Right. It's going down really, really, really slow. See, they're going down really slow. So I think this is going to break the low. Probably drop beyond this point. Somewhere around 1.5, we might be able to get the buy. If we get a setup there. XRP, pretty much the same thing. Let it go down first. They're all going down, so I'm not sure, It's all downside, right? I think this is going to drop more. Depends how fast they drop. How we look at the structures. Can we look at this as all of this in between here? Something like that. Can make an argument for that too. You can look at it many different ways. It really doesn't matter how you look at it. It still looks downside. There's nothing in this that looks upside as yet. Everything still looks downside. So take this out. Let's wait and see. Let this come back here and let's wait for a new low. LTC. Definitely downside. See. Within the 4 hour, it will give us a better perspective. That definitely downside. This is going to drop. It could go back up first. I could see the possibility of this coming back up here. Like this. But then this is downside. So Dodge. Same. It's going down. They're all still the same thing. This one is coming back again here. So it will break the low again. Probably come and drop and break that low. AMP. This one is a little different. This one it's dropping, but it doesn't have far to go, right? So if you look at all of this as some kind of a weird flat, this needs to break the low. And then what happens, any flag you get here is worth taking because you could get that sudden spike. See? Any flag you get here would be an interesting buy because what they do is they spike suddenly. Right? See, this thing has a lot of spike, like really sharp spikes, really sharp spikes. So you had this flag, see this flag, that's more of a flat and then a sudden spike. So If we get a flag there, I think that spike is worth going for. Wait for it. We don't have this one. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually drop here, break the low, come back here, make a small flag like this, and then just spike it back up before they drop. Well, you'll have to set a take profit target and hope that they actually take you in, because that would be a very, very good one. And this is what? This is about to break the low, let it break the low. This one is going to go break the low, let it break the low. I think this was the one we were looking at lately, the last one we had. Let's see. Well, it's going down already. It's probably just going to go break the low. This might not have anything to do with that. So let's see. And Dash. Well, Dash is about to break the low too. So put it in the weekly. Yeah, let it break the low. It needs to break this low and then upside. Dash is quite interesting. If you look at it this way, if you look at it, if this one here is completed the flat, so you can either look at this as a 1, right, the 2 and the 3 there, that's one option, or you can look at it like this. What if this is a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3? If that is the case, then breaking this low would mean total upside, retesting, right? We'll look at it like this, total retesting of the top. If that is not it, and this by itself is a separate impulse, and this coming down is a correction, and breaking this low would bring it back to this level, which is 500. That's still good if you're buying at 30 something. Right, you can get to 600, and from there it's going to come back down here before it goes. So if you're getting Dash somewhere, I don't know, 30 plus to 600, that's good. 500, that's good. That's really good risk to reward. So you have to allow it to break the low, take these off. Allow it to break the low, and then look for that buy setup to go for this one. At least this spike somewhere there, and then we'll see. So keep an eye on this too. So guys, thank you very much for your patience. It's a very long webinar. You managed to stay through all to the end. Thank you for that. For our traders, we'll be back in very soon. Now is, let's say, I'll come back a little early for those of you who missed the first session. I will show you the setups we're going to look at. Immediately when I close this room, I'll go put some of the trades on. I'll tell you which ones we're going to put on. I'm going to put on one of these. We're going to put Europong on. We're going to put these two, either one out of the 32. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 trades will be on. So when I come back for the New York session, the London session, sorry, we would look at them. I'll have to do the calculation. If any one of you have that calculator, please send it to me so I can set the risk up. I don't have to calculate every time. And for those of you who missed the first session, please relook at the small video I recorded earlier, and you'll understand what this is all about, right? Thank you very much. Please go to YouTube and like this video, share it, leave your comment there. Thank you. Bye.